Okay, so for this project, this is what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you a few things with it as well. So you're going to duplicate the site files in the worksheet tab, and you're going to create a new site in Dreamweaver titled DW00 ABC Landscape Supply Company. Then you're going to reference the wireframe file inside the site for the layout and content details. So I'm going to open up my Dreamweaver, which I have already done the site for, and I'm going to show you what the wireframe looks like and how you're going to format this. So there's this wireframe.psd file. When you open it, it opens it in Photoshop. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I can zoom in. All right, so this is what I have for you. This is probably going to be one of the more simpler designs that I give you, because in the future, I may not explicitly tell you what each tag needs to be, so heads up on that. The first thing is that there's this title, ABC Landscape Supply Company, and then the page is Our Products. So when you look back at the requirements in this project, you will see that there should be a file name. I'll make sure it's in there. I believe you need to call this products.html, this file. So when you actually create a file in there, you're going to call it products.html. So this is on products.html. You have your header, ABC Landscape Supply Company, H2, heading to Our Products. And then I tell you have to have these three boxes. Four boxes. And then you're going to use this image tag to do this image. You're going to do, so image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. And then you're going to use the H1 tag to do the product name. You're going to use the paragraph tag to give the price, and you'll see what those are in a second. And then you're going to use the A tag to do add to cart. And remember, your A tag should be wrapped in paragraph tags so it bounces to a new line. And then for the URL, you're going to use the # when you insert the link. Then when you look at the actual, I give you another thing which gives you like not only just the layout, but the classes. So this is .header. But when you put it into your HTML class, you don't use the dot, obviously. But when you do your styling, you will. When you create that rule or that selector, .header, and then you have to style these. Notice how these font sizes are different. So when you actually go into your CSS and design your styles, you're going to have to mess around with the font size. It also should be noted that I give you these fonts. It's meant to be like my handwriting. That's the effect I'm going for here. But you don't match my font. You choose one that works. And then it tells you what images to use, the size they need to be. So that's a clue that when you style the image tag in your selector, that you give it a certain size of width and height. Then I give you the name of the products. I give you the cost per cubic yard. And then again, I give you what the link would look like, which is add to cart. Again, the blue does not necessarily matter because you're going to style that, and you're going to see my requirements in a second. So you could change the colors anything you want. However, so I've gone through navigating that file. And you'll also notice too, before I continue here, let me go back to that file, that these gray things here, borders you don't need. Those are meant to be invisible. So anything that has a gray border you don't need. So don't do it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look down here. The columns are wrapped in a columns class, and then like .cols are the boxes, and those do have a black border. So I would recommend that you include that border styling in your CSS file. So looking back at this then, we covered the site file. When you look at your style sheet, it has to be named a certain name, and it has to be put into the styles folder. So you'll notice that here, there's a styles folder, so your CSS file needs to go there. Then you need to choose 3 colors that are going to be part of your theme. They should be natural colors, because you don't want like bright pink for a landscaping website company. So you want to make sure that you choose like more natural colors. So you would choose 3. How I would define them is like your paragraphs are one color, headings are another color, maybe links are your third color. And then I'm just talking text colors in this piece here. You're going to define these classes. You're going to do columns, col, and header. You're going to define the body element. And I'm going to make sure on here, I'm going to edit this so that way it says body, and I'm going to put a dash, and it's going to say this is where you define your font name or your font family, because you're going to want to choose a font for this site. And if you put it in the body element that's defined inside your style sheet, it will apply that to your entire website. Whatever you put in the body tag gets applied to to all your tags. Then I kind of go into some details here. I say that each class can define its own elements. So your dot columns must not have any elements defined. Your dot col should have 3 child elements for you to define, or 4 when you format the image tag. So looking back at this file here, when I talk about that, here's your 4: image, h1, p, and your link, or your a tag. Those are 1, 2, 3. Those are 4 elements that are defined under your .col class. .header must have 2 child elements defined. And those elements, looking back, so there's your header class at the top. Those are your H1 and H2s. Those need to be defined in there. The body must only define the default font property. So I guess maybe I don't need to edit this at all, but there's that. And then your font family must be different than the default font that comes when you like that Times New Roman font. It has to be different than that. So that's why you have to define it inside your body tag. Now to get these boxes to show up as they do, under the .col, you're going to add a property that says float right, and it will make them appear next to each other. It doesn't look perfect because you have to, once you do that, you're going to realize real quickly you need to add margins so they look spaced equal distance from each other. So the purpose is to get your website to look almost exactly as mine. Text-centered, things spaced out, all that. And I give you everything you need in here. Now, when you go down to the web page or the HTML file, this is where I'll put the file name on because I forgot it in this demo. Must contain no more than 6 divisions. So I give you the dot columns must not contain more than 4 child divisions. So you might be saying, wait, Mr. Nav, that's like too much. So when we go to here, your dot columns only contains 4 children. That is these 4 dot cols. These 4 col divisions. Okay, your header must not contain any child divisions. So when you look at your header, there's no child divisions. You just have your, going back to here, your H1 and then your H2. So it contains child elements, just not child divisions. Must contain the following elements. Wait, hold on, I'm in there. Okay, dot header contains only 2 elements, and you saw that because I just went over that. Your dot columns contains no child elements except the 4 divisions. And then your column contains 4 elements, which is your hyperlink, your heading tag, your paragraph tag, and your image tag. And remember, with your image tag, looking back at this, the image needs to be 200 by 200. So now you're wondering, well, what are those images going to look like? Well, if you go inside Dreamweaver and you go to your products, let me go here. When you go to your products, I have here the image ones that you're looking for. So these are the images. So there's your river rock. There is your, I don't know what I call that, but that's beautiful. That soil is awesome looking. And then image 4, I'm guessing that was like crushed stone or something like that. So those are going to be what goes inside that web page, and those are your images. Don't do anything with the PSD files. Those are Photoshop files. Those may or may not appear when you unzip your file, but just be known about that. So I've given you all the tools. Your job is to apply it, and certainly if you need help, ask. I also recommend when you do this, like here's my sample file that I was working on. I would advise that when you go and you do your CSS file, I'm going to create one real fast. So I'm going to go to create a new CSS file. I'm going to go to Browse, Styles, and then under Save As, I just put styles.css. Click Save. I would advise that, so now we have our styles.css there. When you go into here that you actually, I advise that when you're writing out and styling your stuff, you do it right through the tab that says styles.css. And you write your rules that way. So I might type .cal, because I've showed you this in the other activities, and then I would start typing out things like float, right. Then I would start typing out my margin. I would advise that you do that instead of the CSS designer, because that can make things complicated. At least here you can see a clear set of rules. I think I have everything. Again, like I want to make sure that I don't want you to guess at things. If you're not sure, ask a partner and then ask me so I can help you. Because I want to catch things before I grade it and things aren't 100% correct. So that's all I have for you.